What is up, guys? Welcome back to a special episode of the Nest Podcast. I'm Brandon. Joining me is my co-host Justin, and tonight our special guest from the Elizabethton Cyclones. We got Nate the Great Stephens. What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for coming on. I know last night you guys had a pretty good game that you played, and then get to come on here and talk a little bit with us. We were talking before we came on, and this is, I think, is the 6th episode that we've had now in this series where we've been welcoming the Cyclones on. And for the most part, they've been a big part of the defending champions. That Nate, he's kind of coming into his own this season, and he's going to be part of the next state championship that the Cyclones bring to Elizabethton. Nate, what kind of pressure is that on you, being that you're one of the new guys? You're replacing a big senior running back from last year, and now a lot is being put on your shoulders this year.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure. I'll try not to think about it that much. Cade was a really good running back for us, but at the same time, I try to be my own person because, I know what kind of talent I have. So, I don't really think about it that much. I just go out there and do my best.
Now, in the backfield, I noticed they started doing it a lot more this game than they did against Science Hill, but they put you and Ladarian both in the backfield. So you had, what they call him, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. How
Lightfoot.
How dangerous you think that is to have both of you in the backfield with both completely different types of running styles?
I think it's really dangerous. Ladarian, he's a great running back. He's big, has power, strong, and me, I'm agile. So I think our talents together, could really do some damage.
I agree that 1-2 punch that you guys have, it's definitely something that defenses are going to have to contend with for the entire season, because like you said, Ladarian, he's that rumbling type running back where he's going to run you over, but you can stretch to the outsides and you can really make the defenses worry about containing you inside the box.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of last night, we've got some clips lined up, and you were actually the first player that got to touch the ball on the first offensive drive. And, walk us through this play a little bit there, Nate, and let us know kind of what the play call was going in and how it came to be that, you were going to get to take off, and you took it about 20 yards on your first touch. Oh, 13, I'm sorry.
Well, coach called the play, and I just lined up. I have a great offensive line. They blocked for me really well, and they opened up a huge hole right there, right down the middle, and I just saw it and I ran.
Speaking of that line, we've had the pleasure of having them on. We call them the Hogs. How does it feel to have arguably one of the best offensive lines to ever come through the state of Tennessee? I mean, you got everybody back. How does it feel to have those big guys?
It's amazing.
Does it make it easier? How big are the holes that they're opening up for you?
They work really hard. They work really hard, and it shows on the field, obviously, and that's part of why me and LA can run so good, because they open up those holes, and it just makes it so much easier for us to gain yards.
Yeah, they were pushing around the boys from Sullivan East for sure, and it seemed like on every play the line was pushing a good 2 or 3 yards downfield, and it gave you and Ladarian just all the time in the world to get off. Now, Justin mentioned that all those guys came back, and it has to be something unreal to go from, not taking anything away from the line that you ran behind at your middle school or freshman year, but to go up here with all these seniors these are grown men. Let's be honest. These are grown men that are blocking for you. That's a world of difference.
It is. It is. And I mean, you can tell a difference. They've got ton of size. They're big, they're strong, and I mean, not only are they strong, they have quickness too. They're able to move quick enough to get me those holes. So that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Now, you told me earlier that you were somewhere around 100 yards total rushing, and you only got to play the first half essentially because the score was so lopsided. Um, I believe the final score was what, like 58-7.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, sir.
Justin made a pretty good prediction on that score before the game even started. So I tip my cap to you for calling that one. But putting up 100 yards in the first half, plus you had one touchdown run where I think got it. It was a 30-yard run that you just broke it to the outside. We were talking about your breakout speed, and that's something that you can't teach that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the film and see exactly what we're talking about with this kind of speed. We're right here in the backfield, so
Yeah. Well, this play right here, it was originally supposed to just go straight down the middle, but I mean, of course, I mean, that's where the hole was, and I just broke it outside. Parker had a great block right there to get me to the outside. So
yeah,
I mean, things worked
let's
out
go
really good right there.
let's go back and see if we can get that block from Parker, because that was a pretty huge hit that he laid on him.
Speaking of blocks, Parker's a stud, dude.
It'll be somewhere in this area of the field right here where my mouse is. Number 7 right there. He laid that dude. And Parker had another great game last night too. We had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago with Braden Hawley, and he was telling us that they were amped and ready for the Science Hill game, and you guys came out and performed in that game. But he looks like he's just on a different level. He's one of the fastest high school players I've seen in my entire life. But you've got some speed too. Who's faster, you or Parker?
I'm gonna go with me right here. I'm gonna have to go with me, but it'd be a good race. It'd be a good race for sure.
Different types of running style. Now, I want to talk about the future games, man. We've got 2 behind us. Science Hill game, it's really technically your first scrimmage, your first anything. Now, they turn around and beat Crockett yesterday, so which makes us look even better. But the biggest upset that I'm seeing is Daniel Boone beat Greenville yesterday. How does that make you feel about future games? About going? I know Daniel Boone was actually a tough game last year. It turned out to be tougher than we expected. You've got them coming up next, correct? What do you guys? Are you guys ready for that? Like, what are you? What's Coach Witten got you doing to prepare for that game?
Well, I mean, we're hitting the weight room. We go over our plays, our personnel, and I mean, our mindsets. We never underestimate any team, because on any given day, you can be beat. So we always play 100%.
I know that was a shocker to me whenever I woke up and saw that score, and I was like, "How in the world did Boone just beat Greenville?" But speaking, Greenville last year, it always comes down to you or them. Basically, whoever wins that game goes off to play Anderson County. Whoever don't play Anderson County. Last year it was very close. It looks like they lost a step this year. Are you excited to go out there and put it on them this year? I mean, I know you guys are going to be up for that game more than ever. What do you see in Greenville? I know I can only tell by the scoreboard. Are you seeing anything different from them this year?
I haven't really been paying attention that much to Greenville, but I mean, like you said, they're always a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they have plenty of weapons. I know they have Mason Gudger back. He's a really good running back. And, we just have to go out there and play our game, because they're going to come out and play theirs.
Yeah. Now, you're also playing a little bit of defensive back this season, right?
Yes, sir.
How is it trying to play two ways on this kind of football team? Because you are a very high octane offense where you're pushing the ball, running the ball a lot. It seems like Coach Witten really likes to try to run the rock and control the pace of the game. And then to go out there and play defense where you're doing essentially sprints up and down the field, that's got to be taxing.
Well, yeah, it's definitely tiring, but I mean, you're in the middle of the game, you have your adrenaline flowing, you really don't feel it in moments like that. You know, you're just excited, pumped to be out there.
Good deal. And I noticed last night that when the place kicker knocked down a 28-yard field goal, the whole team kind of mobbed him. What was the significance of that? Why did you guys rush the field and congratulate your kicker?
You know, Sean, I mean, it's hard having to replace a kicker like Jackson. Jackson was an amazing kicker. And, you know, Sean's been working his butt off day in and day out. So, I mean, for him to get on, I think it was his first field goal this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good thing. And we were happy for him.
You know, being a field goal kicker is huge, especially if you think about last year. Jackson's field goal really helped seal the deal against Greenville. Yeah. I mean, your all's type of offense, the field goal kicker don't get very many looks. He might get 3, 4, 5 attempts a year because y'all score almost every play, which is kind of crazy. But how did he start playing football, or did he come from soccer? Like, did he kick in middle school? I don't know much about the kid, other than, you know, watching him kick his first few games.
Well, like junior, you know, elementary school playing football, we were on different teams, but I'm pretty sure he's always played football. I don't know if he's always been a kicker, but he's been a kicker ever since we've been playing together, and he's been working really hard. I mean, you can just see how far he's come from when he first started.
Good deal.
Now, Nate, whenever you're not playing football, what are some things that you enjoy doing? Are you a video game player, or what is it that you like to do to kind of kill some time?
I like watching Netflix. I have a little brother. He always keeps me entertained, you know.
What are you streaming right now?
So,
what show are you streaming? What are you binging right now on Netflix?
I like to watch Avatar. You know, a lot of people hate on it, but I love it. It's my show.
The Avatar, The Last Airbender, the animated one. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I've never seen that one myself, but I've heard a lot of people that enjoy it. So,
what about video games? You play video games?
Occasionally. I don't have a game system, so I mean I don't play that much. But if I go over a friend's house, we're always playing Madden or 2K, something like that. You know, just normal games.
We've heard
like to play
through all the
a little bit.
Okay. We've heard from all the other guys on the team that Ladarian and Deuce are pretty much the two best gamers on the team. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that's like everybody knows that. That's pretty much true.
That's common knowledge.
Yeah, they like the game a lot.
Good deals. Yeah, so it sounds like, Justin, everybody has been telling the truth about that. So we definitely need to set Zach up to play with D and Deuce and let them have some kind of playoff to see who really comes out on top.
Oh, yeah. Right now, it's best anytime you can get your hands on Madden. It sounds like they're all in Warzone. So if you can get your hands on a game like Madden and get really good at it and then challenge them to that, you might have your opportunity to beat them there. The upset.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at Madden.
Who's your team you run with on Madden?
The Cowboys. The Cowboys every single time.
Is that your favorite team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Always been.
I'm a Falcons fan here, so I feel your struggle at times. Brandon don't know what it's like because he's used to winning all the time. I bet you can guess who he pulls for.
The Browns, baby. I'm a Pats fan, so that's why he's giving me a little bit of a guff about it. But I remember the time before the Patriots were winning Super Bowls. I'm a little bit older than that, so give me a little credit.
Now, you told us before we went on that
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A was your spot. What do you order when you go to Chick-fil-A? What's the go-to order?
I ordered the 4-piece chicken tenders, the meal with the fries, and then I get a Hossie to drink.
Okay.
That sounds good. That's a little bit more reasonable than these other guys that we talked to. You know, the linemen, when we had them on, we waited a minute because they were eating a large pizza and a crazy bed by themselves, a piece.
Yeah. And when they told us their orders from Amigos, they had to say and because they order so much stuff from the menu. It's like, dang.
Yeah, they're big boys.
They are big boys. We talked about it earlier. Those guys, they're pushing 1,500 pounds in the weight room. How close are you getting to the 1,000-pound club?
Oh, I got a little ways to go.
Okay,
you're gonna make it.
But as a sophomore, you know that you're going to continue to grow and continue to get bigger and better. So by the time that you're a senior, all these guys, 1,000-pound club should be in the rearview mirror.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of go ahead, Brandon.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of the weight room, I know Coach Harrison came in. Was it 2 years ago? Everybody we talked to talks about his impact in the weight room. How big of a difference has he made since he's been over?
He's that type of coach. He brings that intensity, he expects the best from everybody out of the weight room, and I mean, that helps us a lot because I mean, strength is a big part of football, and the weight room's how you get that strength.
And who works on y'all's agility drills? Is that Coach Witten or?
I mean, different coaches depending on what position. I mean, it really just depends.
So y'all are set up more like a college where you've got your running back coach, wide receiver coach, lineman coach, that type of thing.
Yeah, usually with me, I'm either with Coach Witten or Coach Moore.
Yeah. What kind of wisdom or knowledge can someone like Coach Witten pass on to you? He's been there, done that as far as the game of football is concerned. And now he's got all these young minds there that he's able to help mold and teach them how to, be athletes and be student scholars and to be upstanding gentlemen and citizens of society. How important is Coach Witten's role in your life?
I mean, he's a really good coach, and he expects the best from everybody. And I mean, that's not just on the field; that's off of the field too. And if he hears somebody's acting up in class, or just they're all, then I mean, they usually pay for it in practice. They have to run or something, but I mean, that's the signs of a good coach because he expects the best from you.
I agree 100%. And you're talking a little bit about practice in this season in particular, the 2020 season. It's obviously a lot different because of the coronavirus and because of all the social distancing and all that stuff that you've had to deal with. How much of an impact has that made on your preparation for the season and going forward into the next couple games?
It's made a huge difference. Earlier when we first started practice, we had to stay distant. We couldn't have everybody as a group together, and that affects how much we are getting accomplished as a team. But I mean, we worked it through. We got it together, and I mean, slowly but surely, things are starting to get back to normal. So
Yeah. When we had Deuce on, one of your teammates, he said that you guys weren't even able to use the locker rooms at that time. Have they at least gotten it to where you guys can get into a locker room?
yes, sir, we can use the locker rooms now, but yeah, we for a long while there we weren't allowed to use the locker rooms. We still have to bring our own water, um, everything. We have to bring that on our own. You know, there's a lot of adjustments that we had to make coming into this season.
Now, knock on wood, it seems like, I mean, I know Elizabethans, all I can speak for, but they've done every preparation in order to make you guys safe and to have that 15-game season. So far, so good. Brad asked, do you have any concerns going forward for this pandemic? Something that you guys kind of keep in the back of your head?
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, everybody from, I mean, pretty much every team. Like, we just don't want it to end. You know, our season's underway. You know, and we don't want anything with the pandemic to affect what we do on the field, or if we're able to continue playing this season.
Now with TSSAA rules, if you have any players that test positive, the next game is essentially a forfeit, right? So
Yes,
how is that? Are you trying to keep your teammates accountable? Guys being like, hey, I don't want to see you going out to the movies or whatever the case is. Because it's there's a risk that you could run into somebody there that happens to have it or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, if somebody catches it, it affects all of us, you know. And I mean, that could be the difference in, I mean, our seeding for the playoffs, which is a big deal, and what teams we play. So I mean, we just have to stay careful.
Yeah, I kind of hinted at it there at the beginning. Whoever wins that Elizabeth and Greenville game has to go to Anderson County. That's usually a huge game. I mean, so if you win your division, you beat Greenville, you got a much easier path to the state championship. So Greenville already having to skip one game. How does that affect them? I mean, we saw them get beat by Boone already. Do you think that affected them?
Um, I'm not really sure, but if that was a conference game, then it most definitely did affect them. I don't know who they had scheduled for the first game, but if it's conference, then it counts as a loss. So they already have a loss on their schedule, you know?
So yeah, I'll go ahead and try to look it up and see who their first game was scheduled against. But I mean, that's a huge deal to try to keep that many players safe. And you guys dress out a lot of players on the sideline for every game. So keeping up with that many people is got to be tough.
Yeah, it is.
I know we looked over at East, and you almost feel sorry for a team like that maybe has a handful of reserves. And then you look at the Elizabeth and Science Hill, any of the bigger schools, you look at their sidelines and there's 50 kids sitting over there. You think that makes a big impact? Like you got to think that East was absolutely exhausted, and you guys had bodies just to throw in one after another to go against them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It definitely makes an impact. And, I'm fortunate to be part of a program where we have plenty of kids, plenty of players that are willing to do their job. And I mean, it makes a difference because after a while, you're going to end up getting exhausted, getting tired, and having people to replace you or sub out for a while so you can catch your breath. That makes a big difference.
And that prevents injuries too, because I know it might be frustrating as a player having to sit the sidelines for the whole second half, but that's a whole second half where we don't have to worry about hamstrings. We don't have to worry about taking low shots. I mean, you got your quarterback safe. You know that everybody's going to be safe for that next week. So, and definitely getting tired causes more injuries. So, I agree with you. It's always good to have those breathers.
I'm not having any luck finding the Greenville schedule. All I'm finding is the 2019 schedule, and that's not going to help us. So, whatever. Not that important. But they, I guess, on the books now have 2 losses. Then, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oof, it's a rough way to start the season.
I've got their schedule right here.
If it's non-conference, Coach was talking to us yesterday. He said if it's non-conference, then the game, if it gets canceled for any type of COVID reason, then it counts as it's just not a game. It wasn't played. But if it's conference, then it does count as a loss.
Okay.
I don't. I know Daniel Boone, they got their first game, so it doesn't show who they were supposed to play. But they still got Science Hill coming up, and they got us on October 16th. So that's circle that date. That's going to be a game to look forward to. But it has Boone as the first game, so.
All right. Well, let's hope that the rest of the season's able to go off without a hitch for the Cyclones, and there are no missed games in there where you have to take an L whenever it's a team that you should have beaten. Because from what I understand, the conference schedule is pretty much kind of like Sullivan East, and it's fairly easy to run through with the exception of a few teams. And I'd hate to take an L on one of those games that it's a very winnable game.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about or any shout outs that you want to throw out, Nate?
Well, of course I got to shout out my O-line because they always block amazing for me. That's a must. But yeah, that's about all.
Whenever you play in the NFL, you've got to take the O-line out to dinner, buy them watches, stuff like that. So, shouting them out on a podcast is definitely the first step that you need to take whenever you're getting there. I'm not saying you need to take them out to Chick-fil-A for the nuggets or whatever, because I don't think you'll be able to afford all those.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to take those guys out to eat.
You would be dropping hundreds of dollars on Chick-fil-A food just for them to eat.
Maybe take them to like a salad buffet or something.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. We wish you the best of luck for the upcoming season. And I know you're going to have a couple more seasons there in Elizabethton where you're going to be the man, where you and Bryson are basically going to take over the team and be the new guys coming in that are the big studs. And we wish you nothing but the best and hope for continued success and continued health. Justin, you got anything else?
No, man. I look forward to watching Lightfoot here take off over the next year. Like you said, man, this year lose a lot of players. It's going to be you and Bryson, the 1-2 punch that's going to carry Elizabethton in the future. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Cyclones fans, the future's in good hands. Both of these kids are absolutely outstanding. So future's bright, and I know that Coach Sean will get everybody up to par with you guys. So I just look forward to watching you play, man. The best of luck.
Yeah. And for everybody watching and everybody watching and listening, we thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of our Cyclones that come on here and all of the support that they get. And please tune in on Monday night whenever we broadcast our live stream of our regular podcast where we talk about all the professional sports and the happenings in Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, all that good stuff. So tune in Monday at 7 and we'll be talking about all that stuff. Till then, peace.
I'll say this. Down he goes. One shot, JD.
Thanks for listening. New episode